Did this summer leave you scrolling more and focusing less? Maybe you found yourself chasing a bit more instant gratification? Well, if so, you're not alone, because when summer ends, your dopamine system is often out of balance. Yeah, I get a lot of questions like, is there a way to actually use my devices to help clean up my brain? That's a great question, and today I'm going to share one of the shortest and simplest protocols you can use to do exactly that. Scandinavian Bob here, hi, yeah, real voice and person behind this video, who has been involved in the dopamine and no PMO community now for more than a decade. So if you're getting tired of all these fake AI videos out there, consider subscribing. Alright guys, so here comes a very simple protocol. Well, it's simple, but perhaps not easy to do for some of you. For the next 30 days, do this challenge. Rule number 1, no devices during breakfast, lunch or dinner. Yeah, so whenever you eat, and you do not use your phone. If you have a family or some friends around you, you connect with them during your meals and not through the screen with someone who isn't there. Rule number 2, no devices 3 hours before bed. And so now you say, there is no way I can go 30 days without using it 3 hours before bed. I need to check what's happening on social media. No, you don't. Your parents didn't even have social media. And I'll tell you what, I bet that generation had less anxiety and depression than today's generation. Now, those are the only 2 rules right now, because this alone will give you sort of a mild dopamine fast. But there's more to it than this, because what's perhaps even more important is how you use your devices during the time of the day that you are allowed to use them. Yeah, one super important thing I want you to understand is that not all activities online are equally bad for your dopamine system. For example, there is a big difference between mindfully watching a 3-hour-long Netflix movie versus spending 3 hours aimlessly browsing on social media, getting dragged along by the feed, the notifications, and all that jumping from one thing to another and only keeping your attention on one thing at a time for a few seconds. Big difference between those two. They are not even in the same universe. The Netflix example is nothing to worry about at all. But man, if you frequently do the social media example almost all days of the week, and maybe you even spend more than 3 hours total time per day, then you are definitely blasting your dopamine system with a supernormal stimulus that will affect you negatively. If you are the least bit unsure about what activities online are bad and good, in general, we can say that doing work, studying, and mindful recreation is okay. But whenever you start jumping from one thing to another like a brainless monkey, chasing the next best thing just because you're bored and need more stimuli, then it's no longer productive or a smart thing to do. So for example, watching helpful and educational YouTube videos is perfectly fine, just as long as you don't keep jumping off of every video, constantly clicking to a new suggested video after only a few seconds. Now, I'm not saying that you will instantly fry your brain if you do the chasing behavior a few times a day, but you need to understand that long-term, repeated actions using shallow dopamine will indeed affect your dopamine system long term. Now, the absolute worst thing for your dopamine system you could be doing online is fapping to porn sites. Nothing, and I really mean nothing of today's online stimuli will desensitize your dopamine system faster and more severely than that. And I should know because I have a history of having to overcome a porn addiction myself. So I have done my homework on this. Now, of course, there are chemical drugs that will destroy your dopamine system faster than that. But I'm talking about online activities now. But, I was a bit unsure whether or not I should be saying what I'm about to say right now, because I know there's a risk that people will misinterpret my words. But I just think this is so important, so here goes. My personal experience of having gone through periods where I was overusing alcohol and overusing online porn, I have to say that for me, online porn actually desensitized my dopamine system more than alcohol, even though I drank a lot of it. Here's the disclaimer though. I'm not saying that porn is more dangerous to your body, because alcohol affects every single organ in your body. But I am saying that the negative effects on my dopamine system were worse from having porn binges versus alcohol binges. And speaking of your dopamine system, if you want to know how much the online world, including adult sites, has already affected your reward system, you can try my free dopamine quiz by using the link under the video. And oh hey guys, speaking of adult sites, take a look at the video you see on the screen right here if you want to know just how addicted I was back in the day. In this video I share one of the most disgusting relapses I ever had. This is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today. Consider subscribing for more, and as always, I wish you all the best on your journey to become a dopamine focused warrior.